Okay, cool. So yeah, just if you'll just state your name and your position with Howell, first of all.
Yep, I'm Charles Whitwam. That's Whitwam. Can't even say my own last name. I'm the founder and president of Howl for Wildlife.
Cool. Okay. I'm planning on having this air this weekend.
Okay.
If it works out timing wise. If not, I don't think I'm gonna have a show next week because we're gonna be skiing. That only happens about twice a year, like Christmas.
Nice.
And we're taking the kids out of town.
Where are you going?
I will. We're going to Purgatory. It's like,
where is that? What state? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. But my plan is to have it air. It just depends on how long we go, really. If we don't go too long, then I'll have it air this weekend.
Sure.
If not, I don't want to cut anything, so it'll be later. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. And you go by Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie, Charles, whichever.
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, what do most people call you?
Charles.
Okay, Charles.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just follow my lead then. I'll go back in, add an introduction. We'll just pick it up like we're talking during the show, okay?
Yep. Oh, I see. My name's Charlie W on there. So sometimes I'm in public Zoom meetings with possibly anti-hunting organizations. So I change it a little bit and don't show that's why it says that in there. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Charles, welcome to the show, man. Great to visit with you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. So where are you joining us from?
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, California.
Oh, my condolences.
It's not too bad. Depends on where.
That is not true. I was at the gym the other day and I had on a Don't California my Texas shirt, and this guy comes up and he goes, "Man, that's just wrong." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'm from California." And he goes, "But I'm just kidding. Pelosi and Newsom destroyed that state, and I've lived in Texas for the last year, and I love it."
It depends on what you pay attention to, for sure. I stay away from. Interestingly enough, I really try to stay away from the politics here as much as I can, because that's not going to make me happy.
Well, it's a one-way street where you live. So, but what's not a one-way street is protecting our rights as a hunting community and as sportsmen and women here. And so I became aware through our friend Baker. He mentioned that I should get in touch with you and learn about Howl for Wildlife. And you and I had a preliminary conversation, but it's all new to me. So I'm excited to share what you're doing with our audience, because I think there are great organizations like Sportsmen's Alliance does a great job of keeping people in the loop as far as what anti-hunting legislation is out there. But you guys take it a step further. And I think that's what makes Howl very unique in that aspect. And I'm going to let you kind of, first of all, give us just a little bit about your background. Why is this important to you? And then talk about what Howl does as far as taking that information and saying, okay, now what do we do with it?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. And thanks to Baker also. He's been amazing. Getting me partnered and hooked up with so many people. But so I'm originally from Michigan. I grew up hunting, I guess you could say on a small farm. I was definitely surrounded by large farms. I thought everybody hunted at a point in time in my life. It took me a while to figure out that people actually don't hunt. So eventually I moved to California and I started hunting in California. I started guiding in California, started outfitting in California and other states as well. I'm an entrepreneur here. I've had my own business in events, like a corporate events-based business, since 2006.
What does one typically guide for in California?
Wild pig, deer, turkey. That's what I do in California. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Could do bear as well, but what I've done personally is wild pig, deer, and turkey in California. Do a little bit of guiding in South Dakota, and
so I guess you're an interesting guy. I do want to go back to your childhood though, because wolves something that's always front and center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the Great Lakes states, again, just lost the right to essentially control their own wolf populations.
Mm.
As a kid, did you see wolves?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. I mean, that would be, man, to see a wolf back, it'd be in the Upper Peninsula.
Uh-huh.
So I was in, so that's essentially Canada. That's Lake Superior area. You could go up there and see moose and whatnot. But in the lower peninsula, I don't know if there are wolves there now. Are you aware of in the lower peninsula?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just curious.
I'm not sure. I would imagine.
So you're from
certainly
the southern part of the state. Okay.
Yeah, the main, the part that looks like a mitt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the main part down there. So I grew up on Lake Erie, southeast Michigan. All just farmland basically down there. Definitely no wolves. And even whitetail, they, when my dad grew up, he grew up in that area. There were no deer in southern Michigan at all. They would go to northern Michigan, there'd be, thousands of them at once. And it was through ag and just deer movement and whatnot. And now there's whitetail deer all over the place in southeastern Michigan. Good ones too.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So back to present day. I just was curious, we all, and I think wolves tie in perfectly to what you're doing, with Howl. So back to present day, you live in California, you guide, outfit, and that somehow led you to say we need something like Howl to help with this issue that we're seeing from the anti-hunters, the pressure they're putting on us. And I think social media has been like a golden nugget for them, as far as making us look horrible. And it's unjust what they do, but they're not going to stop. So anyway, I'll let you take it from here and talk about how you came up with founding Howl.
Mm-hmm. So a year ago, there was a bill in California to ban bear hunting. And I basically, right after that bill was read, a reporter, so the first time it was read, like in legislation to the Senate, a reporter sent it to me, and because I had been involved in some other bills before, but he did send it to me just to get my thoughts on it. And obviously my thoughts were, well, we got to do something about this, but I didn't see really any actions to take surrounding it. And it was, about a day after the bill was originally read. So I started an online petition and kind of an online, a social media grassroots effort to voice our opposition to this bill and just see where that would go. And within 5 days, we had 27,000 people from all over the country make calls and sign a petition, and just it was everywhere for about a week. And the bill got pulled, which was something that never happens. The senator pulled it himself. He's just like, okay, we're not ready for this. We're not ready for this.
This is coming from a state that just banned bobcat hunting 2 years ago. Like you can't trap, well, you can't kill a bobcat in California. It's protected.
No. Yeah, it is. So what that told me was something happened that had never happened before. And it came from hunters. It came from the grassroots. It came from just individuals. Mm-hmm. The orgs didn't even have any time to really get involved in this yet. And so there were so many people making noise about it, and we shut it down. So to me, I was like, okay, how do I organize all the millions of individuals? How do I somehow organize all the millions of hunters and anglers and people who want to get involved to directly contact decision makers surrounding this bill, whether it's pro or against? How do we give them an easy path to get involved with that? So that's when I started about a little over a year ago, working on a program and a website and a platform, and just, trying to figure out what to do and how this would work. And then about a year later, this past January 11th, I launched Howl for Wildlife. And I do have a partner, John Stallone in Arizona, who has helped me do that as well. So he's a co-founder in this. Mm-hmm. So what it is basically, like you said, so Sportsmen's Alliance, they'll have an alert and you're aware of legislative actions, legislative issues going on around the world or the United States. And the problem that I've seen is, okay, if you don't, how do you get involved? You say, all right, that's great. What is there anything I can do about it?
Here's the information. Now what do I do?
Yeah. So what we created is, if you are in any state, you don't need to be in the state where that issue is. If you are in any state, you can go to our action page. I think currently right now there's, I don't know, there might be 9 live actions up in different states. You can click on basically each picture, which will bring you to that state's issue. And at the bottom, you sign your name to it. And what that does is that sends personalized emails to every decision maker who is connected to that bill. So you don't have to live in that district. You're not contacting your legislator. You're contacting either the wildlife committees, the Senate committees, the ag and water committees, whoever it is that's going to be specifically deciding on this bill.
I'll give you a personal example. Like, I don't live in Colorado. I've gone mountain lion hunting in Colorado. I'd like to go again. And we just saw in the last 6 weeks, they had a bill proposed that was going to take on mountain lions and hound hunting. And it has since been shot down because of the overwhelming reaction from sportsmen. But that's something that would be like, okay, why does cable care about mountain lion hunting in Colorado? Right. Well, okay, I just told you why. I'd like to do it again. And it's more than that. It's like, if they take it away in one state, well, there's a precedent set. Now we're going to try to take it away in another state. That's
really what it is. Yeah. That's why you should get involved. So you might hunt in that state. You might go and spend dollars there. You might live in that state. But it's the attack, if I'm allowed to call it that, which I think it is, it's for sure. It's in multiple states. It's multiple fronts, and it's crossing state lines. So we can cross state lines to defend or promote a bill that we like as well. I think we should all be able to do that. We're following the North American model of wildlife conservation. So, and right there, it's North America. It's not the Missouri model or the Georgia model or whatever. We, as sportsmen and anyone who cares about the healthy wildlife populations, they should all get involved in any state. So we've made it easy for you to take action. So you can go to our site. There's 9 live actions up, I believe, I don't know, 7 or 9. You could get through all of those actions and send, right now, I would say if you go through all of those actions, it would take you maybe 3 minutes, and you would send a personalized email, all different emails. This isn't a form message. It's from you to them, to about 400 decision makers right now in multiple states. So that hasn't been accomplished before at all. We've sent, I just put up the numbers yesterday, but we launched January 11th, and we've sent, I think it was 367,000 emails to decision makers so far. And when I say we haven't sent any of them. We're just kind of the catalyst for you. Yeah. So it's just coming from you to them. We're not mentioned in those emails or anything whatsoever. It's just giving you that easy button to reach the people that need to be reached. And the decision makers are getting these emails. They're responding to these emails. If you take part in this, you'll have a chance to have a conversation with them. And it's kind of amazing. Like they're responding specifically to what you are saying. And, one thing that we are doing with that, it's all about building relationships, is when they do, number one, appreciate them, say thank you for actually getting back with you. That goes a long way. And when a bill goes our way, it's really important for us, I think, to recognize that, because then the next time something comes up, they don't see us as just hunters or whoever it is that are just trying to rip someone's head off or yell at people or whatever else. Like, no, we have to really rise above that. And I think if we continue doing this, we're going to continue to see success. And we've seen a lot of success since January 11th. I don't know how many actions we've had so far, but a lot of them have come and gone quickly because they've been, it's crazy to say, but they have been overwhelmed with pressure from hunters, and that has been noticed. And some of the bills they were probably going to pass anyways because they were for them, but some of them, specifically, you brought up Colorado, those emails, the senator said they didn't realize, what they were getting into. They didn't realize the full extent of this, and those emails really made them rethink their decision. And they made that decision, and that bill got crushed to ban mountain lion and bobcat. And it was also lynx, but lynx was already federally protected in Colorado, but that was on the bill anyway. But
it's funny to me because I think Colorado's like dead set on like being California 2.0. Like, we want to be California's little brother. Show us how to do it. And by show us how to do it, I mean show us how to do it and how to manage wildlife incorrectly. You guys banned mountain lion hunting in I think it was 1990. It was the early 90s.
Early, yes.
Yeah. And then I remember the early days of doing this show. I've been doing it 14 years. It had to be like 2011. They turned the screws on
hound
hunting for black bear and bobcat.
2013.
2013. And I had a guy from Northern California who that was his livelihood, man. And they took him out of the game.
Do you remember his name?
Oh, it's been so long. I could go back and find it in the
I know
archives.
a lot of those guys. Yeah. Okay. Huh.
But yeah, and then we see like that same mindset now, like in Colorado, just okay, well, let's reintroduce wolves. Let's let the general population decide the wildlife management future of our state. How stupid is that? Yeah. Why even have a game and fish commission if you're not going to let them do their job?
Yeah.
So it's funny to me to just watch, be like, oh yeah, Colorado's like going down that same path that California paved the road years ago.
Well, if we do it right, there's so many resources within the hunting community and with the hunting orgs. And what I mean is, biologists and data and just people who are on the ball, who have, there's thousands and thousands of studies of why what we do works, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the messaging, we shouldn't be afraid of this. The anti-hunting messaging is actually unintended. I think it's unintended to them, but I think that messaging is actually anti-wildlife. It actually hurts wildlife.
Oh, for sure.
So the idea, and that's hard for people to understand, but the idea of, for some people to understand, the idea of,
do you think that's because it's emotionally based? And so it's like they think they're doing the right thing, but they don't look at the actual facts. That they're so wound up in the aesthetics and the emotions of how this looks, of, oh, someone killed a bear. Okay, well, why would someone do that? And how does that scientifically help or hurt the black bear population and then subsequently wildlife in general?
Well, I think the first thing is just, how are you protecting something by killing it? Yeah, I can understand that notion. Just
that's where the conversation ends a lot of time, right?
Yeah, it's exactly.
It begins and ends right there.
It begins and ends right there. But we can show why that's a good thing. There's limited amount of habitat. There's in California, there's an excellent study that was done. It was a 5-year study by 5 biologists somewhere out of the country, somewhere in the country, whatever, but they're wildlife biologists on the effects of black bear and mountain lion on black-tailed deer in northern Mendocino County. And they basically came to the conclusion that the black-tailed deer population was in dire straits, and there's way too many black bear, and they're just not being managed correctly. And the black bear are also stealing kills from mountain lions, which is causing mountain lions to go out and double kill more often than, because they were finding kills all over the place, but a mountain lion kill, but then they'd see a bear on it. So now that mountain lion has to go kill another deer. Right. So you're hurting if we're not going to manage predators. This is the irony. They want to protect wildlife. That's what they say. Right. And I get it. I think that they do for the most part, I think most people but their train of thought, the way they're thinking about it is wrong. So you want to protect wildlife by just absolutely no management of any predators, but that's going to kill more ungulates. And it's actually going to kill more predators too, because there's only so much habitat and so much food and all that. So that's what I think makes it tough for us, is because we have to explain it a little further. It's beyond a meme. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the truth is always beyond a meme. And that's what makes it a little bit harder for us to do. But I think we can do it. I mean, man, the resources are there. The science is there. The data is there. We need to market these messages to the mainstream media and not just back and forth between hunters, because we all pat each other on the back and you and I agree on all of this. But how about engaging this conversation to the mainstream?
Yeah.
How about putting up a billboard that shows the money that comes in from hunters and anglers and how that actually goes to wildlife conservation? How about putting that up in San Francisco on Highway 80 between Oakland and San Francisco?
Awesome. Yeah.
Get that conversation going. You know, some people off the bat are going to look at it and be like, oh yeah, right. But then some people are going to go, really? Let me look that up. I mean, PETA advertises to the mainstream. The HUSIS, Humane Society of the United States, advertises to the mainstream. That doesn't mean they're getting everybody, but they're getting a few more percentage points, right? They're getting a few more people passionate about what they're doing. And that goes a long ways. So why can't we do the same thing? Let's get a few more on our side, the non-hunting public, who enjoy, where they can say, you know what, when I went canoeing or backpacking or hiking or whatever with my family, we are actually seeing healthier herds of wildlife because of the North American model of wildlife conservation. That doesn't mean you have to be a hunter, but you can appreciate the methods. You can appreciate why it's needed, right? So of course we're going to get a few more people on our side to get involved. And you know what we've seen since January 11th, when we launched, it's a small handful of people that have now taken steps to get involved where they haven't before. And we are already seeing a huge change. And this is just, I don't know, we have 17,500 members, I think, right now, right? That's just people that have gone to our site and do that. What happens when we have 100,000?
Right.
What effect is that going to have? What happens when we have 1 million, which is, I really want to get into single digit percentage of the sportsman's world. That's not why can't we do that? And then think about how powerful we actually would be if we have that many people at least contacting their legislators and putting pressure on them, because that works. It does. We hear it all the time.
Well, we've seen it work. Yeah.
We've seen it work, you know, and it's
the blowback in Washington over their canceled spring bear hunt. You know, that was a big win as well. And that was because of the pressure that sportsmen and women put on their governing body. So here's a question, though. You mentioned you put up a billboard in San Francisco. You compared it to PETA and HSUS advertising in the mainstream. Where do those dollars come from? That stuff's not free.
No.
So I think that, you know, we at least have to bring that up. Like, who's going to pay for that?
Okay. So
facilitate it.
Yeah. So we are not going to be in the business of habitat restoration or any of that. There's plenty of orgs who do that. Mm-hmm. That space is filled. The space that isn't filled is mainstream marketing of the message. That's where we want to spend our money. Will we be able to get enough money to do that? We're working on that. We have a few guys who are trying to kind of devise a plan on how to raise money for that and make that work for everybody involved. It might take a coalition, but here's the thing: you go to any hunting expo or a dinner or whatnot, they'll raise $10 million in one day, right? So I'm not saying at all, this is not what I'm saying, like that should go away. No, but I think we need to take a different approach in the hunting industry. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So if we need to come up with a few $1 million to whatever it is, to start marketing this, we can do it. We just have to have the right mindset for it. We got to have the right, um, you know, clear goals. How this will work. The money's there.
That brings up another interesting point, though, because they obviously, and I mean the anti-hunters, that side of the fence, they utilize social media, they advertise there, they're in that space. Will big tech even let us put our message out there if we wanted to? I don't know, because you're talking to somebody who was just canceled off Instagram like a month for 3 weeks without any clear reasoning. Luckily, friends, a mutual friend of ours, was able to say, "Hey, you guys, you canceled this guy. All of the violations are BS. Someone, actually, a human being, needs to look at his account and determine if he really broke any rules." Then, of course, I get a message. "Oh, sorry, we disabled your account by accident." Right? Okay. So I wouldn't even. It wouldn't shock me if they're like, "Nope, we don't want science. We don't want hunting. We don't care if it's factual and true. We just don't want it." So I don't know.
A part of the name Howl for Wildlife and the approach we take, if you go to the website, and I've I've definitely heard about this, and I knew going in I was going to have to prove it to people who we are, but if you go to our website, you might not think we are exactly a pro hunting organization off the bat.
I'll tell you, the word Howl for Wildlife makes me think, oh, this is a pro wolf group. I mean, that's
totally on purpose.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's multi. I mean, Howl is making your voice heard, and the pack is, us, right? That's really what it is the people getting involved as a pack and making, a one singular howl, because I believe it's actually protecting wildlife, what we're doing.
Of course.
Right. But people they don't like that word, protecting wildlife, because the anti-hunting orgs, they've kind of co-opted these things. I'm like, well, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. They're not actually protecting wildlife. We are. Let's take that back. We can use this terminology. We can also show pictures of wolves without being, oh my God, he wants to bring, come on. It's just, it's optics. It's kind of comedy to me. But I've definitely thought out, we show pictures of live animals, and we concentrate on messaging being science-based. And hopefully that helps us with not getting canceled and whatnot. You know what I mean?
We're evolving is what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Why not? Which I think is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've gotten some backlash from it. I have emails from people, and it's funny because you've gone to our website, you've taken action. It's the only reason why I have your email. And then I'll send out an email blast when a new action comes out, and somebody will email me back like, "Hey, I don't know how you got my email, but you're an anti-hunting organization." And I'm like, "Hold on a second. Like, how'd you?" And they're like, "Well, you have pictures of wolves." Like, you saw the logo.
Yeah.
Read nothing else. And I've been pretty nice. I'm like, "Hey, listen, here's what it is." And they're like, "Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I feel like an ass."
It's brilliant because it's, in a way, could infiltrate the non-hunting community and get them to, like we said, think about if there was a billboard there, or I'm on the Howl for Wildlife website. This is interesting. And, these guys also hunt, but they're really putting out this message of, we're trying to protect wildlife. So, like you said, it was an intentional decision to name it Howl. I think it's genius. And like you guys just started January 11th, and you have all this momentum. I'm excited to, when we get off of this call, go to the website, sign every one of those petitions that have nothing to do with my state, more than likely. But it all flows one way down the creek, man, and it ends up in all of our laps as a hunting community. And so whether we used Colorado as an example, or whether it's Washington State, or the anti-rabbit hunting bill that they were trying to pass in New Hampshire, it affects all of us. Because it just builds momentum for the other side. And so it's important to take interest in things that you think, oh, that doesn't affect me. I'm in my little buffered world down here in Texas. No, it affects you. And I think there has been too much of that mentality, to be honest with you, Charles, among our community of, oh, well, what happens in a little state like New Hampshire doesn't matter to me in Texas, in this red state, that's foolhardy.
Well, it will. And there's a lot of Californians moving to Texas. So how about at least when those Californians move there, maybe they have a slightly different mindset on the hunting and wildlife community. That would be a start. And, we can get them on billboards. We still have gun show billboards on Highway 80 in San Francisco here. So nice. If that's allowed to be put up, I'm pretty sure a science-based wildlife management billboard can be put up. But I really do think we should take that approach. And furthermore, on the website, when you do take action, currently we have 2 tiers of rewards. So if you take action, you will get basically a page that will give you discount codes from anywhere from like Wild Game marinade sauce, the flip flop guy, to Black Rifle coffee, to Eastman's hunt tag, Eastman's hunting journals and their tag program. And then you gain points. So the whole website, this is one of the reasons why it took so long to build. The whole website's gamified. So everything that you do when you're logged in has a point value to it. So whether that's taking action or sharing to social media or whatever it is, signing up for some of our Zoom training meetings, you get points. And when those points reach a certain threshold, it automatically enters you into contests to win physical prizes. So we've had backpacks from Stone Glacier. We have, Tacticam cameras, whatever it is that we have that we can offer.
And as this grows, those will only, I'm sure, continue to get better and better too.
Yeah. And it is, there's a ton of rewards that we're working on now with, because now kind of a lot of companies are wanting to get involved in this. So we're trying to figure this out. Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Yeah. And we're not going to be, sponsored by any one company. That's the whole point of this is everybody kind of coming together. So if you see 5 different backpacking companies on there, that's an awesome thing, because it's everybody just wanting to support hunter activism or whatever it is that you want to call it. But this is way too easy for anybody to have an excuse not to get involved, at least at this level.
Right.
And it does make an impact at this level.
Well, man, I hope that all of our listeners go check it out. What is the website?
howlforwildlife.org.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. And then social media, just Howl for Wildlife.
You can type it in. The Instagram, I shortened it. Instagram is howl_org. Okay. I basically post everything there first, and it just gets repeated to Facebook or Twitter or whatever. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter. If somebody is, they'll see it over there. But everything's mostly on Instagram right now.
Okay. Cool. Well, Charles, man, I certainly appreciate the time. I had no idea what Baker was sending me when he said, "Hey, talk to this guy." Better than
that's how he does it.
Yeah. That's exactly. He doesn't really give much details. He's like, "Hey, call this guy Charles with Howl for Wildlife." I'm thinking, oh, this must be some pro wolf guy. Like, what am I going to talk to this guy about? But no. Awesome stuff. I encourage all of our listeners to check it out and share this. Even if someone doesn't listen to our show, say, "Hey, Deer Camp buddy, check out this organization," because, like you said, it's too easy not to get involved. You guys have dumbed it down for people. You've taken modern technology, said, "Here, take this and run with it." So now it's up to us.
And we'll have an app soon, which will make it ridiculously easier. So
yeah. Well, awesome, man. Well, I don't think this will be the last time we visit. I've enjoyed it, and we look forward to that time when you join the rest of the California exodus to Texas. So we'll see you soon.
Yep, definitely. Thank you. I really appreciate it, Cable.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.